Hello once again, people. Oh, wait, somebody else says this. I'm not about to punch barons or anything, so. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Classic Doom Shenanigans. Yeah, that's a serious title I've had in mind for a while, and since I'm doing more than one video, it's obviously a series now. Wow! Anyway, today we're talking about one of the forgotten bugs of the past. A bug you've probably never seen because it was already fixed at the time the Ultimate Doom came along. As you can probably see in the video title, it's a bug that affects E3M1 and E3M9. Both maps, because in case it wasn't obvious enough, a large section of E3M9 is literally copy-pasted from E3M1, so the bug got duplicated. Why is this bug so interesting? Well, first of all, its history is a bit funny. It kind of shows why it's not generally a good idea to copy-paste levels and then forget you copy-pasted them. And also this bug had different effects depending on what version of the Doom engine you were running. So since we're going back to vanilla, I'll need to open up the good old DOS box and stare at the cold black screen of DOS. So first a quick introduction. Okay, this bug has existed since the earliest days, so it could be observed even in version 1.1, which was the first release to have all 3 episodes of Doom. You may remember from my last video that the game was called the Doom Trilogy, which sounds so cool for some reason. And initially the bug wasn't quite severe and it was overlooked for a while, but when the 1.666 or 666 as I call it update came along, it kinda became more severe. So they fixed it, but only in E3M1. Why? I guess they just forgot. Sandy or whoever else was dealing with these fixes forgot that E3M9 was basically a carbon copy, well, not entirely, of E3M1. And so the bug remained for a while, causing problems for uncareful players, such as myself, probably others. And they finally fixed it in what was the last patch for a regular classic Doom, 1.9. As for the effects of this bug, in the older versions of the engine, it just caused a small, pretty harmless visual glitch. Nothing to worry about. But once the 666 update came along, oops, the bug suddenly started causing crashes. Not pleasant. At least it was avoidable. The bug has to be triggered in a specific way before it can crash your game. So anyway, enough talking, let's actually take a look at this thing. First we'll go to the older Doom 1.2. It was the first more significant update to the game, made a lot of changes to the levels. I might make a video talking about this someday, and some changes to the engine as well, though it generally had the same behavior as before. Oh, and 1.2 introduced another thing which I'll show you. And the other thing was, of course, nightmare difficulty. It was finally implemented. As the legend goes, some people complained the game was too easy, and so the two Johns, John Carmack and John Romero, decided to add a new difficulty level that was not just nasty, but unfair. Oh, and of course, this level now has the secret corridor. which, if you remembered my previous video, was missing in version 1.0 and also in 1.1. Anyway, we're not here for this, we're here for E3M1 or M9. Well, it's the same bug, it works the same way, so it doesn't matter really. Ooh, not very friendly. Bye. So, the first thing we're going to do is show you where exactly the bug is located. But first let me just clean up this room a little bit. Yeah, you guys really need to work on your hospitality skills. Anyway, the bug is right here on this brown section of the floor. So this entire sector is the problematic one. And the bug is actually an incorrectly placed tag. You see, in Doom, sectors can be tagged with a number in order to connect them to some line def, which is usually a switch or a walkover line, so that something can happen. And this sector here is not supposed to be tagged at all because it has no special function, but it was incorrectly tagged, and it was tagged with the same number as one of these small subsections of this collapsing bridge or whatever it is. And this is what causes the, in this case, glitch in the newer versions of the engine, crash. So let's trigger this bug and see what happens. First we run across the bridge, get a shotgun, come back here. Oh, wait. Before I go back to that room, notice something here? The bridge collapsed, but it's still visible. The floor texture didn't change to match the red slime around it. This behavior is typical for the older versions of the Doom engine. Also notice I'm not taking damage. The sector type remained the same. It's not a damaging floor. Yet. Now, as for the actual bugged room, I promised you a visual glitch, and ooh, did someone do some redecorating here? The brown floor turned gray, probably because it's adjacent to another gray sector and it copied its texture for some reason. Yeah, it looks a little weird, but beside that, it's harmless. It's nothing game breaking. Well, until the update came along. So let's get out of here and prepare ourselves to go into another version. Okay, so now we'll check what happens in 666, but first I'll use this opportunity to say a few things about this version, because it generally had a significant historical value. As you can see on this info I've put up on the screen for you, it was the first version to have complete support for all Doom 2 features, and by features I mean the new enemies like Pain Elementals, Mancubi, Archviles, etc., and of course the double-barreled shotgun. And this made it the first official release of Doom 2. That's the one I had back in the day, some of you may remember it. Of course, it was also a major update for Doom 1, mostly an engine update, changed a lot of behaviors and features, and wow, this fixed a lot of old bugs and other weirdness. It also had the unfortunate side effect of breaking some old custom WADs. One example I can think of a somewhat famous WAD, well, famous in the sense that it was featured on Doom World's top 100 best WADs of all time, is Return to Phobos. I think it was E1M2 of this PWAT. It has a platform that's supposed to rise so that you can get to the exit, but it doesn't work in newer versions of Doom because it relies on 1.2 engine behaviors and it got broken. There were also cases of custom WADs with custom music that relied on some of the peculiarities of the old music playback system, and this also got bugged in 666. Anyway, let's see what happens here. So in this version E3M1 is fixed. There's nothing to see here, so we'll jump directly to E3M9. Oops, sorry. There we go. And the imps are still not very hospitable here. So once again I'll clean up this room in advance. Seriously? Anyway, so for now everything is normal here. The bug has not been triggered yet, so nothing to worry about. But I'm not just going to leave it like this, so I will trigger it. Oh, and do you notice this now? The engine behavior has changed now. The collapsing bridge disappears completely, its floor texture changes to match the red slime around it. Oh, and the sector type changes as well. See? I'm taking damage now. So, bug time. It's still brown. It didn't change this time, so at first sight it looks normal. But is it normal? Let's find out. Ooh, that doesn't look good. And so the game crashes with an error message. P_player in special sector. Unknown special 20 blah blah blah. Curiously, this number at the end of the error message changes every time you play the game. In many cases it shows -1. Now it shows 27,499 for some reason, but it changes. I don't know why. It's probably a case of an invalid sector type or something. I'm not sure. I'm not really well versed in Doom map editing, so maybe someone more knowledgeable in this can explain exactly what happens and how this bug works. But that's the effect. You walk over the sector and the game immediately crashes with this error message. And I got to see it quite a few times back in the day because I wasn't always careful, and due to the lack of internet I couldn't just get the 1.9 patch and fix the game. Yeah, 666 was the version I had for many years back in the day, so I have quite a soft spot for it. Anyway, that concludes our demonstration for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, and I'd like to use this opportunity to give a big thank you for all the people who left comments under my previous video. Thank you guys. It felt really nice to see you and talk to you, etc. Yeah, I'm not good at this. Anyway, that's all for today. Goodbye and happy holidays.